Call the select board meeting for August 11th, 2025 to order. Mr. Brown, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You do it next time you hear about it. We'll go around the table. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda for the select board, August 11th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have to add one item, the warrant to the tax collector of the town of Castleton and the county of Rutland. We have to add that to the agenda. I suggest we add that right after citizens' comments.
What it is again, Dick?
It's the warrant to the tax collector. It authorizes our tax collector to actually collect taxes.
Okay.
If we don't do that, then he's not legally allowed to do that. If we don't collect taxes, we don't plow the roads,
Yeah.
among other things. So there it is, Rob, when it's time. Any more discussion on the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of July 28th, 2025.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
please,
Please.
down at the bottom on page 1, 3 lines in, it says, it could be that the water ponds, it sounds to me like it should be water pools.
Where are you again, Mary Lee? Help me out here.
It's 3 lines up from the bottom,
You're on the wrong page, Dick.
page
Oh.
1.
Yours looks differently. Yeah, that's the sewer. Is that the sewer coming? Yeah,
I
you
got
gotta you gotta get to this,
I gotta figure out where my packet is.
because it's your name.
Somewhere in this.
What was it, right behind your agenda? Is that your agenda right there?
No, here it is.
It's your name, it's what you said, so.
I'm right. I'm with you now, Mary Lee. Try again. There comes to
It's 3 lines up from the bottom. It
Well,
says-
ponds or pools is synonymous.
Maybe
It's
it's
really,
what it's,
I don't think it really matters. We can change it to pools.
On page 3, the top line says, "Our Spalding arrived on Zoom." Yeah, every motion was 4-0 for the rest of the,
I probably was quiet. You probably didn't hear me.
Yeah, you didn't speak for quite a long time, until the end of the meeting is when he spoke up.
'cause all of them said 4-0, and
Leave it be.
it was after you came on.
Leave it be.
It's very possible he didn't vote. He didn't vote.
That's correct. You couldn't hear Bob voting.
Thank you, Allison.
I have nothing else.
I'm good.
Mark?
I have nothing.
I'm good.
There was a couple of very minor typos, but I'm not even, it's not significant. All in favor?
Aye.
Citizens' comments. Items not on the agenda. You can go, Mary, you'll be second. No, you can go first. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, though.
My name is Joe Bistry. I live on Johnson Spooner Road, and I've been here since October of 2017.
I can't hear you, sir.
I said my name is Joe Bistry. I live on Johnson Spooner Road, and I've been here since October of 2017. And I got 2 or 3 comments here, subjects. Number 1, like my taxes went up 13.7% last year in 2025, and I got the notice this year, and my taxes are going up 19.3%. That's 33% over 2 years. And that's kind of stiff. So I don't know what I can do about it. But one information I'd like to know is what was the average increase for all taxpayers? We know that?
I know mine went up around 5%.
Well, there's a couple of pieces to that, because there was the reappraisal, and the average reappraisal was 60% higher.
Yeah, my appraisal was higher than that, so.
And of course, without seeing your home, what's happened to it, and where it was appraised before,
I calculated the
It's-
reassessment was like 7.7% of the 19.3%.
the reassessment was designed to determine the fair market value of your house. And obviously, that's not the same for every house in town. So as the market changes, some properties went up more than others. Some were probably appraised at their fair market value in 2015, some were probably not. So it didn't go up the same, you know.
I realize that.
And then on top of that, the tax rate is calculated two different ways, whether you have a homestead exemption and whether, or if you don't, you know, whether it's your primary residence.
Right.
So the town budget didn't go up very much. What, 4% this year?
Sounds about right. I don't
So-
have that document in front of me.
I don't believe that's true.
It absolutely is true, yep.
How can my taxes go up 19%, the town budget only goes up?
That's what I was trying to explain to you. So, you know, if every house in town had appraised at $100,000, and then they, under the new appraisal, they went to 200,000, nobody's taxes would go up, because they'd go up by 4%, because the town still needed to raise the same amount. But if fair market value for Roy's house was determined to be 100,000, and fair market value for your house, let's say it used to be 500 and now it's 1,000,000, your taxes are going to go up more. Because I'm not trying to defend the system itself, but that's the taxation system that we use in Vermont. It's based on the fair market value of your property.
I understand that. And I
And
had a discussion with Tyler Technologies, since I had filed a grievance. And I think the fair market value that they put on my home is reasonable. I think that's fair. But the problem that I had with them is that probably 1,200 feet of road that I live, or around where I live, the increases went like, there's like 5 homes, went from, I think it was like 70, one home went up 72, my home went up 70, the next home went up 67, the next home went up 65, or 60, and the next home went up 65. And my question to Tyler Technologies, and I've done nothing like to that home except maintain it. I've not added any significant value or new structure or anything like that. My question to them is, how can my assessment go up more than every other house along that strip when we have the same acreage and it's basically the same lot size, you know, and they didn't want to talk about it.
Did you appeal your taxes? There's a process for that. You know, that's not a question that we can answer here.
Well, no, but I got this notice, and then I didn't mention anything about an appeal. I think I did read the ones available, but anyhow.
But you had stated you felt that the appraisal for your home was a fair value.
Yes, but it
So-
doesn't matter if mine's a fair value. If they're undervaluing homes, then my share of the pie, my piece of the tax base, the town expenses are gonna be higher.
Correct.
And they won't listen to that argument. And the other thing is, there's a property further down the road that just sold, well, sold in May, I think, 600,000. Its assessment's 437. There's a house across the street from me, and they're begging to get 600,000 for that house, and it's assessed at 726. It goes both ways. This thing is inconsistent, and you know, I just wanted to let you all know that. That's my observations, and I think it's a shame.
What's your address again, sir?
Huh?
What is your actual address on Johnson Spooner?
109.
109, thank you.
In fact, there's a property a couple houses down that last 2015, was it, the last time this was done? That property is assessed higher than my property. This time around, that property is assessed lower than my property. And, you know, that property is a pristine property, and it's a very nice lot. So, I don't know, you know, I know you can't do anything about it, but I wanted to make my comments and
No, I appreciate that. The state has certain guidelines, so there is, you know, a formula that you follow, and does it come out exactly correct every time? No, it certainly doesn't. You know,
yeah,
it's,
but I would say that a business, Tire Technologies, or someone in that business, I mean, you have a grievance process, so anyone who feels like the assessment's too high is going to grieve. But anyone who feels they have a low assessment, you're not going to hear from them.
no, we haven't heard from anybody with
That's
that
typically
problem.
the case, sir.
And that is just as bad as a high assessment.
I can't argue
For the rest
that.
of the population, so if you guys have tried up some kind of opinion on Tire Technologies, I think, you know, what controls do they have in place to review assessments that are too low? I mean, they ought to be looking, you know, in my opinion. The one that sold for 600 and its assessment's 437, that's just off the hook.
At minimum, sir, I'm going to satisfy my curiosity on this. You
Okay.
you gave me cause to take a little bit of a dive into this. And that's why I wanted your address, so I know exactly which property I should be looking at and which ones are adjacent to you. So thank you.
If you'd like to talk to me, I'd be happy to talk to you.
I have no idea what we do about a house selling for 600,000 when it's only assessed for 437. I would have no clue how we fix that.
Well, I'm just saying, my point is that the process is inconsistent. I mean, fair market value is like a benchmark, but they gotta make sure everything's consistently applied. My house shouldn't go up any more than my neighbor's house if we didn't, you know, if there hasn't been any. I mean, there's a property, one of these properties added a garage, and their percentage increase is lower than mine. I mean, I don't understand this.
So
I
you
think the
said
process, I'm sorry.
you said your assessment went up 70%,
Yeah,
and your tax bill went up 17%,
19.
19%. Because my assessment went up 74%, and my tax bill went up approximately 5%. So something.
You're probably non-homestead?
No.
This is your primary home?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to look into it,
Yeah, that doesn't.
because I know my state tax credit was like $7 for the whole year. It was not a factor.
Yeah, mine went up 60%, and my tax bill went up $200, like 2%.
So, you gave me cause for curiosity. I'm gonna do a little bit of a dive into this.
Well, I hope I don't cause you any work needlessly, but
Well,
Sir,
this-
just for clarification, the town budget this year is 4.1% higher than last year. That's the hard number.
does that include the equipment and
Think-
capital reserves?
Yes. Yep. Now, remember
I'm really in the tank.
the lion's share of that tax money goes to the state for the education fund.
No, I'm just talking about the town budget here. I'm talking about the town of Castleton expenses. The town of Castleton portion of the bill.
Yeah, 4.1% higher.
either.
So when you said your tax bill went up 19%, were you talking just the municipal tax or the total bill?
Municipal.
Just the municipal, okay.
Yeah, it was, in 24, 25 year, it was 3055, and this year's 3645.
I'm gonna do a little bit of a dive on this, so,
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like an issue.
yeah, I'm curious. So I'll do a little bit of a dive and report back to everyone, including you.
That'd be great. I had a couple other little small questions. The rec center that was in here on a line item, when it went out with the tax mailing, you said it was in the budget, but I've never really heard what the rec center is costing us per year.
It's 85,000.
I think it's 85, sounds about around 85,000 in expenses for that building. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, so I'm looking at, it was 80, I believe it was 85 something, a little over 85.
And that probably doesn't include the, what do you wanna call it, the rec person?
That's not personnel, that's just the expenses for the building.
And then the other question I have is that we just, within the last couple of years, we purchased, is it called a ladder truck?
Yes, we purchased a platform last year, or we took possession last year.
How much did that cost?
300 and something, does that sound right?
239,000 plus, like 8,000 in maintenance.
So 247, that's what I was gonna say, 247.
The rec building is 88,500 in the current budget year, so July 1st.
The new platform we bought used, and that, so that piece of apparatus is what, about 20 years old now?
2001?
Yeah, so 24 years old. It's in excellent shape, and it's replacing a Maxim ladder truck that was manufactured in 85,
85.
which replaced one that was manufactured in 56, which was the first one I operated when I joined the fire department 25 years ago.
I thought I heard someone who purchased like $1 million. I don't know.
It was $1 million new in 2001,
Oh, okay.
but we paid 240, you said?
No, 247.
I think the 300K was when we had purchased engine 3 in 2010. That's where I got that number from. And that was a new truck.
Okay. So is there like any information available to see how the capital reserve is developed?
Yeah, each one is different. That was voted on by the voters to establish it.
Right.
So depending on what year it was, we'd have to look back in minutes to show when it was established. But yeah, we could do that by looking in minutes.
I mean, I don't want to call it this work, I've eaten up enough time, so thanks for allowing me to take.
I'm gonna do a little digging, and we'll report back to you, sir.
Okay.
Mary? What's your name, Mary?
I'm Mary McIntyre. Today I represent, I'm the chairperson of Fire District Number 2, which is the Castleton Hyattville streetlight fire district. A lot of people unfortunately don't understand that in this town we have Fire District Number 1, which is more the village area, which is streetlights and water. And then out this way, here on the western side of town, we have Fire District Number 2, which is strictly streetlights, and they start on Route 4, just about at O'Reilly's, roughly, and go just about to the town line. We pick up Cory Lane, East Creek Road, Far Lane, Park Street, School Street, Pine Street, Up Creek Road, and part of Quinnipine's. And then we go down Bristol Road to the bridge, and then David Lane out in there, and then we go up Eagle Terrace. So that roughly is 65 miles. And what I'm here to you is just to use this platform to let people in town, anybody listening to this, if you are part of Fire District Number 2, we need your participation. There's like 5 of us on that board. I've been on that board for 25 years. At one point, we were down to 2 of us. Violet Lanthier and I went to Fire District 3, which is the water, and begged them to take us over. Then town manager Jakes, his name Charles Jakes,
Jason?
JC, he looked into it and talked with town attorneys and Vermont leagues of cities and towns, and we'd have to vote on it as a town, and it's really quite convoluted in even expanding the fire district. But for now, we've got 5 people covering a lot of positions, and this year we just lost another one. But I mean, our treasurer is on in years and had some major health issues. He had to attend our last meeting via the telephone because of his health. Our tax collector, I recruited her when I went to that Fire District 3 meeting, and she took pity on us because, at that time I was probably in my late 40s, and I had Violet with me, who was definitely beyond retirement years from the post office. So the 2 of us were probably looking pretty straggly and pretty frazzled, and so she's come on to us and with us, and she does get paid, and but it's a lot of responsibility, and we've talked about it, and if it went away, if all of us just said, nope, not doing it anymore, there's money in our funds for a little while, but what would happen to it? Would those streetlights just go away? And what would that do for the safety of our town? Maybe some people wouldn't want that. They'd be okay with not paying that percentage of the fair market property value, which is what they pay to have the lights in that fire district. But we've got a special meeting on the 25th that I really need people who live in Fire District Number 2 to attend, because we're going to set the rate, and so it's based on, because we held it off, we really do work hard at this, we've held off setting the tax rate because of the reappraisals. And, like a town budget, we can't overtax people, and that potentially could have been an overtax if we'd just gone with the status quo of, what we've been doing. So we're having a special meeting to set the tax rate, but, we really need folks to attend.
You said that was August 25th?
Yes, August 25th, 6 o'clock, it's a Monday, and it's going to be in the back portion of the Castleton region, which is 378 Vermont Route 4.
Well, tell everyone we'll do the same, and I would suggest that if you have the funds, that you send a letter to every member of Fire District 2.
We don't have the funds, nor do we have the manpower.
Okay. Well, I can't speak for
Well,
the,
we have officially warned it, put it on front porch forum.
Yep.
It's been, nowadays, it's even getting hard to warn the post offices because they don't like you necessarily to post things, but it's in the required, posting areas, and, but, I've never come here before and said to decide to announce it, and I just thought, hey, I take another route, and here I am. So
Well,
thank you for your time.
I think making everyone aware of the situation you're in is wise. You need to do that. It makes sense. And I'm wondering, would it be a heavy lift to put that on the town website? we can do that.
Or you need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably all we can do to help you, but we can do that. You're welcome.
No, I got a question, Rich. What is the annual fee for each resident in Fire District 2?
Well, it's a percentile,
Why is it a percentile?
because everybody is different, so it's based on your fair market value of your property.
Your assessed value.
So it's just like, you just had a conversation here, so it's different from household to household.
Yeah, see, that doesn't make sense to me. Because if I have a bigger house, I don't take more of that light, that street light than you do if you live in a smaller house.
I can't argue with you, Bob, it's just.
No, I'm not looking to argue, I don't
Yeah, no,
understand.
but I mean, I can't even answer that because.
I don't
there's a
understand
whole
your
section of
financing,
law.
yeah.
There's a whole section of law on it that, you're more than welcome to read. It's Title 20, Chapter 171. It's all about fire districts. Mark has come to the meetings. If you have any different interpretation than I have, Mark, you could maybe give Bob.
No, that's what they use is,
Does that make sense to you, though? I mean, the street light is what it is. If I live in a bigger house, I don't take more of that street light.
does it make sense that we tax every person in town, their portion of the town budget, based on the value of their house? Right? If you live in a really big house and I live in a tiny house, we both use the same roads, same library, yet you're gonna pay more because you have a bigger house. So,
And you might
I mean,
not
that's
see
going
what's
down a
going on.
rabbit hole that we can't
Yeah.
control. We just have to live within those laws. But, yeah,
And a lot of this fire district is right out of state statute.
yeah, it's all out of state
And
statute.
Mary, you're right, some of it is very cumbersome and complicated. I know I took a dive into a little bit of it at one
Yeah,
point too. and-
It's just really old, and, we do get complaints, because unfortunately, when people buy their houses, at closing time, it's not always explained to them about our fire district 2 and our fire district 3, and then when they get this bill, they're all up in arms, and then, if you live in the neighborhood with them, then you hear all about it. If not, they
But it's a pretty small bill.
it is, but if you, like it's been explained to me, if you put everything into your house payment and you're budgeted tightly, and then you get this bill for $60, $80, may not seem like a lot, but if you've already got a tight budget, that apparently is a lot.
Most of that money goes to GMP and they maintain
Yes.
the lights. If
Yes.
one goes out, they fix it, no questions asked. And
Well, we have a prudential committee that has to go around and note those, and then we report them and they get fixed.
GMP fixes them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that's part of the budget. And remember too, that the amount of power, they're going up this year. So, and so when, much like you, our budget has to cover the bills.
Yeah.
Whether somebody pays their fire district 2 bill or not. So we have to have wiggle room in our budget as well.
Sure.
And then, sometimes we have to take people to small claims court. We have people who have, our tax collector actually has liens on their home. Sometimes that's where we get a windfall, if you will, it's when a house is sold, and then at that point, in order for the closing to go through, the bills have to be paid, and we'll get some of that back taxes. But just like you guys talked about, some of these back tax people, yeah, we have to see. Even though it doesn't seem like a big bill, but then you've got it for multiple years, it becomes much bigger.
Thank you, Mary.
So,
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
We'll
Appreciate
put it
your
on the
work
town
there.
website. Right.
Roy Newton, as long as you're on this subject, I pay for a street light in my place. It's not even on my street. It's on Route 4A, not Park Street.
You're talking about Fire District 2?
Yes,
I'm in Fire District 3, I think.
that's for your water. Fire District 2 is for your streetlights.
Am I 2 or 3?
Your street light is 2.
Streetlight is 2. If you get town water, well, even if you don't get town water, you'd be in Fire District 3 for the water.
You're in
Whatever,
both.
The light's up on Route 4, and I'm
Yep.
behind the island on Park Street.
Does it at least shine on in your entrance way of your
No.
Park Street? No?
No,
I'm just asking, because I didn't know. I was hoping it would shine on your entrance of your Park Street so you don't drive onto the lawn. No?
The idea is that it makes your community safer.
well, yeah, so they should have them all the way past Gilmore's, up to Route 4, shouldn't they?
Well, they drew the line where,
I agree with that, having streetlights, but they stop at Gilmore's, I believe.
It's
Does that have to be on
just
Gilmore's?
west of Gilmore's, yes it is.
well, unfortunately, the town government does not control the fire districts. And that's been made clear to us in the past. So at this point, thank you, Mary, for your input. We'll do what we can to run it up the flagpole. And we're gonna move on to the tax warrant.
Did you want to see if Charlie had something to say?
Oh, citizens' comments, Charlie? We're closing on that and then we're moving on.
You already done the unified development?
We have not.
Okay, I'll wait for that then.
I would make a motion to, do we need to make a motion to sign it, or
So approve it and sign it.
to approve and sign the warrant for the tax collector?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do you want to read the warrant just so everyone knows what they're approving?
Yep. Greetings. By the authority of the state of Vermont, you are hereby commanded to levy and collect of the several persons named in the list herewith committed to you the sum of money annexed to the name of each person respectively, and pay the same to the treasurer of the town of Castleton on or before the 30th day of June 2026. And if any person neglects or refuses to pay the sum in which she is assessed in such list, you are hereby commanded to extend this warrant for collection of such sums so assessed against such delinquent persons, with costs and any land in the state belonging to such delinquent person according to law.
Does everyone understand the warrant? What that is giving our town manager, who is also the tax collector, the authorization to collect taxes and convey them to the treasurer. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we gotta sign this?
Yeah, we gotta sign it. I'll put it in the blue folder, right, Mike?
Yes, please.
Rec department update. Who's that? Is that you today?
It is.
Here you go.
I was gonna verbally just let you know what's going on with the position that was advertised. We've got 3 viable candidates. I gotta review another one tomorrow, so it could be 4. So I've spoken to 2 of them. I met with them down at the rec center. Gave them a tour and talked like rec 101. But, then I'll reach out to the search committee to try to establish some interviews. So hoping the interviews for the, I'm sorry, interviews for the, that's my green pen, Bob. The interviews will be next week, not this week. I got to make sure everybody's available to do it. So I'm tracking now was Andy Vermillier, Martha Clifford, and Mark Brown, and myself. And the update on the soccer, primarily 3rd and 4th grade, but it's pre-K to 4th grade. I've worked with the new rec director in Fairhaven, Erica Knott. The town is going to go with joining the Tri-Town League, which is Brandon, Pittsford, and Rutland Town, rather than Rutland Rec. And the reasoning behind that is Rutland Rec only offered 4 games, and they're on Saturdays, and the Tri-Town will offer 7 games. And some of them will be on Saturdays, some will be on Wednesdays. So Saturdays will be in Brandon, and the other ones will be in Rutland Town. I've been going back and forth with Erica about registration. God, I get that call from my stepdad. We're gonna go and let everybody register through Fairhaven, because all we're doing is paying the registration fees to the league. So they're gonna take on collecting the money, paying the Tri-Town League, and Erica's also working with an individual named Carrie, who has the wicking T-shirts that are their uniforms, and there's gonna be a cost associated with that. And I corresponded with Erica today, that we'll probably just roll that into the fees, the cost of the T-shirt, and they can keep it at the end of the year, because that was a contentious thing last year, is the coach, I guess, let kids keep whatever their uniform was, and so if they pay for it, they keep it. It'll Slate, I think it's a Slate Valley Unified. It's Slate Valley, I think it's unified at the end. The rec center itself, it's been pretty vacant as far as, I started going down checking doors now. I was there Saturday. I know the basketball was in there Saturday. I was there when they were there. They closed everything up. They turned the lights off. There was I got an alarm call last night at 11:12 p.m. and come to find out, it was a adventure camp staff member in there getting some materials, and tripped the alarm. So the police responded, and they were not there. That person called the police and said, "That was me." And so I asked her why she was there at that night, at that late, and she explained why. There's been Fire District 1, it's on the agenda tonight for them renting space. I've been dealing back and forth with Carrie Fowler on that. They had a little snafu, and they're looking at 1 September as their start date of occupying the building. The agreement's in your packets to review tonight, and then they have a board meeting on Thursday night. If everything goes well tonight, they'll bring it before their prudential board on Thursday. But they're looking at, again, 1 September as a start date. There's also another business in town that I have been talking to about renting space down there. They're waiting for some construction cost estimates to come back on things that they want done in the building. So that'll help determine whether it's feasible for them or not. So that's ongoing. Other than that, I haven't had much to do with the rec remits. I asked Christine to take care of all the processing applications and stuff like that. So I haven't heard anything that there was issues going on, so I assume all is going well. And that's it.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions in regards to that? Mary?
I just gave opportunity for this to come up, and it didn't, but I think you should all be aware that Woodard's Marine is celebrating their 65th year in business, and so they're gonna, August 30th, have a gala to celebrate their 65th year in business, and they're going to be having a gala, and there'll be food and drink, and it's an admission price of $35, and all of those funds are going to come back to rec to go towards the gym project.
Excellent.
So that's big news again, and support for our recreation center.
They having the gala up to
They're having it at their facility.
right here on
Yes,
East Creek Road. Yeah.
I do, when Mary mentioned that, there were some, during the Cash Bash, Mary brought up to John that there was some electrical problems on the stage. So we're in the works of trying to get somebody in there to look at that, to figure out why outlets don't work. And then I've asked McClure Construction to go in there. We have, water goes under the floor in the gym. The hot water's already been capped off there. And I asked them to look at doing away with the water lines that go into the floor, because if you're gonna spend money to replace the floor down there, the last thing you want is a a pipe to rupture and ruin the floor. So what I've asked them to do is go through that old kitchen up into that long bathroom at the top of the stairs, and then tap into it that way, which will feed that west side of the building, anything that has a sink or toilet in the bathrooms or those classrooms, so we can get the water so it's not under the floor. I also asked them to assess the roof around the air handler, because it's rotted. The boards are starting to rot and it's settling down, and it's very little space to work up in there. But that's something that John Alexander started when he was still there, talking with McClure Construction about that. But, so there could be some bad news that comes with that. I'm assuming that when this roof is sagging, that there's not gonna be good news. So, more to follow on that one. And then I talked to Paul McClure, and the heat exchanger motors are all in. And between now and winter, he's gonna get those installed and the thermostats changed out so that everything works the way it's supposed to. It'd be more efficient anyway.
And just for clarification, that those roof issues aren't over the gym, correct?
No.
That's in a different section, just because again, there's people probably
Yeah.
listening, and we need to clarify that, because before we started this, we
Correct.
were given assurances that the roof would be.
Yeah, that was evaluated by a local roofing contractor, and
So I just wanted clarification.
someone was quite
You are
credible.
correct, it's not over the gym.
I mean, it's still not good news, but
Yeah.
at least when we're talking about upgrading the gym, roof isn't.
Well, so more bad news. There is some water that leaks down into the handicap ramp area between the building and the parking lot in that corner of the gym where the handicap ramp goes down into the gym, that whatever north or south east corner of it. What I was told was that we need to repave and dig out there, and it's tipped right now. It's not tipping away from the building, so the water's just staying against there, and it's getting down, it's getting inside somehow. And so have a little bit more exploration to do on that one, but there could be some costs associated with that too.
And that was raised at the time that we initially had the committee.
Yep.
Remember those blocks just inside, and John thought that would be something, the parking lot was supposed to be redone at one point,
Yeah.
and he thought
Yeah.
that would be mitigated with that.
We're still believing that will be the case, but
It could be just as simple as pitching the slope away from the building.
Right, but that isn't complete news to that committee. New news to that committee, so, thank you.
Rec rental rate discussion. Is this pertinent to the communications you and I had today?
mostly, but there's just overall, how to equitably, I guess, I'm not fairly and equitably might not always be the same. So, what we're charging per hour rate, the board voted on that at a previous meeting. I went back and looked at it, and it was $25 per hour for the classrooms and $35 for the library area that has the audio-visual equipment in it, and the home ec room. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not saying I'm not sure, but I believe that the rates are too low, and without trying to price it out of people's ability to pay for it, I want to come back to the board with a recommendation for that, as well as this. Just seems arbitrary sometimes. In the past, when there's a program, we do a cost share. Like the person running the class gets 80%, the town gets 20%, and then we got others that are paying the rental rate. And I'm like, there's no consistency to this, and I got to do a little more research on it. But I do want to come back to the select board with a recommendation on how to correct that stuff with the rental rates and the splits and how things are being split. And also the basketball, I did some numbers today after you had spoken to me, Mark, and I sent them to Dick as well when I finished them, and said it comes out to be like 26 cents an hour is per person to play pickleball, and I tried correlating it to basketball, and so they're in there 6 hours a month pickleball, if I, correct me if I'm wrong, it's $15 a month for a membership to play for a resident?
If you're a resident, if you're out of town, it's $20.
Yep, okay. So, thank you. So, and there's 58 hours, I believe, is what it come up to, available to play. I'm not sure how you guys break it down, but if you played all the times, hours that are scheduled, it comes out to be like 26 cents an hour. And so I broke it down to basketball, and it'd be like $1.55 a month they would pay to play in there. And I'm like, for me to have staff that are being paid $20 an hour to work on this, it's gonna cost us way more in staff time and posting and going through this than we're ever gonna take in. And so if the town considers rec a service, and like the transfer station, not everybody uses it, but it's in the town budget. We have revenue that comes, we try to make it cost neutral, and we're trying to do, we can't do that with the rec center. I think you guys will, the board will agree with me, to try to make $88,000 in revenue for that place is just not doable right now.
Not right now,
Yeah, and it's gonna,
but we're working towards that, right?
yeah, I mean, the board had said $50,000 would be somewhere, I say, I don't know if it was you, Mark, or the board in total. I didn't go back and look at minutes, but that's a little more than 50% of what the operating costs are. But I don't see reaching $88,000 in a long time. I mean, that's a lot of rentals for anything. The most money that we make is on basketball from the university when they have their camps there, and adventure camp. Those are the two things that we really make money on. Or if someone's renting the gym for $75 per hour for multiple hours. So it's gonna take a while to get to, what a reasonable number, 50,000 even. So, if it's considered a service, then, just like the transfer station or the beach, because the beach is in the budget, and then there's revenue that offsets the cost. But is it cost neutral? Not always. So is rec gonna fall in the same boat that the taxpayers pay $88,500 a year, and whatever we make, we try to make, and beyond that, there's no further discussion? Or we raise rates? We do that at the transfer station. We raise rates to try to keep it so it's cost neutral, and the beach, we look at that too. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not coming at you with anything, trying to get a decision tonight, but these are just the things that I'm thinking about, and how to combat some people in town might say it's a service and they don't worry about revenue, and others are gonna be the opposite. So, it's really just up for discussion. And
I'd like to throw something at you too. How much or how often is a room, well, like I got the room for the First Communion thing, how often is that done?
infrequently, if I said, for paying customers,
Right.
once or twice a month, if that, but we haven't really marketed it.
That's what I was gonna say. Shouldn't that be advertised more? It's
Yeah.
perfect for, it was his first communion, but it'd be perfect for a birthday party or anything.
I
Got a
fully
stove,
support
it's got a
that.
refrigerator.
It's just getting this stuff situated on cost and those type of things, so that we're consistent on how we're doing things.
That's what we thought would be a primary responsibility of the rec director, would be marketing this. And,
So it hasn't been marked, because,
Right.
only because it's been inconsistent on what we're charging people and what rooms are available. Right now with Adventure Camp in there, if they take up 4 rooms, then those 4 rooms wouldn't be used for those 6 weeks. But they would be available outside of those 6 weeks, but when there's stuff in the room and it's cluttered with stuff, then that's gonna be a problem, because there's no storage. I've got to move stuff out of the Vermont room, the guidance counselor's office for the fire district, and I only have really one place to put it right now, without putting it in some room that someone's using. So space, even though it's a big building right now, there's a room that was gonna be for like kids and parents, and then there's the teen room, and then there's 3 rooms that are, got tables and chairs and stuff in for adventure camp. And then there's the horticulture room, which is the old science room. Then you got the fitness room, the wellness room, that's kind of exclusive for that stuff. We're slowly, like, if everybody wants their little piece of the pie and they don't want to move out of it, then it limits what we can do. So I'm trying to get that stuff, now that I'm really fully immersed in this, get that stuff situated before we go fully trying to market this thing and then say, oh, sorry, just kidding, it's not available.
Would it make sense at this point to focus on hiring a new rec director? And then once we have a new rec director, then we can partner with that person to try to figure out how to make some of this more coalesce and be more mature?
Yeah, I mean, that's, right now, my focus is the rec director stuff, but every day I have to deal with something down at that building. So it's not, I'm not focusing on it, it's just, it finds me, I don't find it. But I just looking at, to make this thing consistent and adhere to our policy, we just need to get that stuff straightened out on cost and how we're gonna split things up and rooms.
I
that are
agree,
gonna-
we set those too low.
Depends on where you look at Middlebury and theirs is a little lower than ours, but, again, if they budget rec as part of a service to the town, maybe they're not really looking at, all that revenue generation, so. But anyway, more to follow, I just wanted to bring this stuff to your attention.
So let's talk about something that might be less vague. The lease agreement with the fire district.
So everybody should have a copy. This came back from our attorney. As I stated earlier, it would start the 1st of September rather than the 1st of August. As previously discussed, it's $800 a month, triple net. Excuse me. The only thing that wasn't discussed as part of this agreement was they were talking about having a heat pump put in there. There's one sitting outside there on the building. I asked Paul to find out if it's still functional, but they wanted to have some kind of air conditioning in that room, so that there's gonna be added electrical cost to that, so something we have to deal with. Because under triple net, the utilities are included, but they start adding energy sucking machines and things in there, we got to deal with it. But I think it can be dealt with as an addendum to this.
Those people are pretty easy to deal with as a rule, so.
The only thing is the utilities were included, but the cleaning of their office space, the garbage removal beyond them, phone and internet on them. I talked to Kerry earlier, and he's reached out to their utilities folks to come in there and take a look. I'll have to coordinate to let them in the server room, but they're already reaching out, doing that stuff.
They're doing their own cleaning?
Of their space. Yeah. And so we said it was 1 September, and it's a 2-year renewable lease. And in here, it's 75% of the consumer price index for the Northeast over the 2-year period to be able to raise the rent. That's what most places are doing, so we're just following suit. They don't always follow suit with 75%. I use 75% because that's what we use with our union contracts, because we're not Boston, and so the costs in Boston are much higher than here, so we took 75% of the consumer price index.
So CPIU Northeast is the entire Northeast, including New York and Massachusetts, right?
Well, New York's in it. I think just Boston, Manchester, those.
Still some fairly urban areas.
Yeah,
Hartford,
definitely.
Connecticut.
Definitely way bigger than our area.
So what's the board's pleasure on this?
I would make a motion that we accept this lease agreement, sign this lease agreement. We already discussed it.
Yeah,
It's a step in the right direction of trying to get this building up to where it generates.
some revenue?
We set a target of $50,000 a year. I think that that's doable. I know we have a long ways to go, but this is a start.
I'll second that.
If I could ask that that my name's on this, authorize me to sign the
I was
lease.
gonna suggest that, Mark, that your motion include authorizing the town manager to sign it.
I would make a motion that we authorize the town manager to sign the lease agreement with Fire District 1 for office space at the rec center.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
Yes. I don't like name on this page by itself. By moving up one line, you could put it right on the bottom.
I will, I'll bring it up. I just gotta do some
It just
spacing.
looks funny to
Yeah.
see
It does.
name and title
I do
on.
agree. It should be on 6 pages instead of 7 or 5 instead of, yeah, 6 pages instead of 7.
Because there's plenty of room to
That's something. Did we call that question?
No, you did not.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I didn't think so. That's why you're here, to make sure I get it right.
You're good, you're good.
Okay, temporary relocation of board meeting discussion. This is all about the firefighter 1 course taking place here every Monday from September until March, April? March. So that the town manager got a hold of me about that, and we basically have a couple of options. The one that I think probably makes the most sense would be to just move the meetings down to the rec center, to the village school at 47 Mechanic Street on Mondays from now until fire district, or till firefighter 1 course is complete in March of '26.
It's the only place big enough.
We used to have the meetings in the town office, but that turned out to be a little too cozy at times.
One of the venture camp will be done, so we have one of the classrooms down there that has the Wi-Fi booster in it, so, and it's the old camera system that we used to use before this was all installed, so we're going to have to go digress a little bit and use that camera, but it meets the requirements of having a recorded meeting, so it's just going to, instead of having 2 camera views, they're going to have 1.
Well, if you can make that work, it seems like the perfect spot.
And I think having firefighter 1 here is kind of a feather in everybody's cap.
They're looking at 25 to 30 students.
Good.
Firefighter 1 and 2 combo class.
Nice. I had to drive to Brandon to do that, and that was 25 years ago.
You got some local folks participating?
There are.
Any idea of rough numbers?
I don't. I just talked to Heath, and there's some people from here and plus
Every Monday.
Fairhaven and Pullman.
Every Monday and
In our mutual aid districts?
Right.
Excellent.
So that's what it's targeting.
2 nights a week,
Did you have to be
plus
at-
weekends.
Did you have to be every
But it could be
meeting?
from anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, it was a pretty big commitment.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So it's every Monday and Thursday from now until sometime in March or April. I think it's March. Plus they have to do, I don't know, it was 4 or 5 weekends 25 years ago. I don't know what it is now.
Well, I would make a motion that we authorize the town manager to set up a classroom at the rec center to conduct our meetings for the time period that this building's used for the firefighter 1 course.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Yes, Bob?
Bob McIntyre, I just want to say that this meeting is going to be wonderful, but it's hard to put a dollar value on that towards us making money, but it is very valuable. I just want everybody to think about that when we keep talking about the rec center has to maintain a budget or maintain some money. That right there makes it a great resource, and it's hard to put a dollar value on that.
Well, and it's really hard to put a dollar value on all these fine young people that are coming here to get certified for firefighter 1. That's a big commitment on their part and
See, that's what
takes a lot of effort.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to say, it makes that.
Gives us an alternative space.
Yeah.
And it's good for the whole county, well, actually for the western part of the state, because I don't know how far away they attract. I had to drive to Brandon when I did it.
Be anywhere in the state if they want to drive this far.
Ray Davidson from Virgins, if you remember that name, was my instructor. He was famous in the fire service for decades.
Great stuff.
This would also displace. No, I'm sorry, I take it back. I'm sorry.
Because it's Monday and Thursday, right?
Yes, it's good. It's not going to displace the DRB. We're good. I'll shut up now.
Well, wait a minute, the DRB was talking about changing their meetings to Thursday, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure where that's at, but
Well, and the chair of the DRB needs to be aware of that, 'cause they can use the same venue we do. They just need to know that they need to meet there.
there was no second on that one. I didn't hear it if there was.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. UDR regulation finalization.
I would make a motion that we approve the UDR as presented tonight.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it
For discussion.
for discussion.
Moved and seconded, we approve the UDR. Discussion from the board first.
You all know how I feel, so.
I feel like they made all the changes that we had requested. This board has been reviewing this for 6 months.
Sounds about right. At least
We
5.
went over the fence setbacks, a few other things like that, and they made all the changes that
We'll get
we
there.
asked for.
Anything else from the board? Mr. Brown, I'm sure you have comments.
Actually, I do.
So, can you step up to the podium so the mic will pick you up, please, for the Zoom recording?
First off, I just wanted to say, Mark, I'm a little disappointed in you, because when I talked to you, and it hasn't been 6 months since this has all come around, but when I talked to you a month or so ago, after we all met here, you promised me that you were gonna contact me as soon as you contacted them so I could see everything, and everybody else in town could look at the stuff. That never happened. When you guys had this meeting, I got a call at 6:15 that night. I was on the way to Massachusetts to deliver vegetables to a customer, and I couldn't make that meeting.
But you're not talking about the UDR?
Yeah, we are. That's part of the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, correct?
No.
That's not. Them changes for the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, that's not it?
No, we're discussing the town of Castleton UDR, not the Rutland Regional, Rutland County Plan,
Regional plan.
regional plan.
So where are we at with that?
So, we, at the last meeting, voted to apply for 1B status, correct?
Opt into the Tier 1B
Opt
stat,
into Tier 1.
which,
Part of the Regional Planning Commission
That is,
stuff?
that's correct.
Absolutely.
But that's not what we're talking about
That's
now.
not what we're dealing with
All
tonight.
right. But you guys voted to go along with that?
Yes. And Mike did call you before that meeting.
Yeah, at 6:30. And I was gone out of town. I got called at 6:30 that night.
And the reason I called him is I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I better call him, let him know it's on there. It wasn't,
that was on the agenda for the last regular meeting we had 2 Mondays ago.
How did the board vote on that?
To unanimously accept it.
Every one of this board member,
Did I vote? I don't think.
Correct, because our town zoning is still our town zoning will still be intact.
I may have said no.
Did you guys bother to
voted it all on
look to see whether the businesses, because remember when they were here, there was one business that showed up. So if you guys make these changes to our areas, it's going to affect different businesses.
I don't think, it doesn't, Charlie. The only thing that regional plan does is in areas that have services, water and septic, under certain developments that I don't think are gonna happen in our community because it's too small, they would have
Mark,
exemption from
when these
that.
people from Burlington, I hate to disagree with you, but when these people from Burlington with a lot of money, this town is going to explode with these changes that you're making. And then who's going to end up footing the bill to pay for the sewer and the water and all the extra stuff? Us taxpayers that have been here forever. We always are the ones. Everybody that's been here forever, then stay. They don't sell their stuff and leave after 6 years. Okay, we've been here forever. We're all paying the price. Our tax bills. Our chairman told everybody, oh, your taxes aren't going up. your taxes aren't going up, the grand list is going up. Well, everybody I've talked to, their taxes have gone up. So, I mean, and this is before anybody starts adding more money to the tax bills. You guys gotta start paying attention what's going on. You gotta look down the road. You can't look at, oh yeah, this is the way it's gonna be. We're gonna be able to do the Act 250 stuff in this area without it. There's already a lot of ways around that.
But it doesn't, our town zoning takes precedent over that plan.
You really think so?
I do.
So do I.
You tell me how you think that our town plan, when we use the Regional Planning Commission to do everything for our town.
They don't do everything for our town, they offer us
They do
assistance.
our town plan, they do all of our town planning, they do everything, then they come in and you guys, the board, accepts it. Correct?
No.
That's not so, Mark, you know that's not so. That's how it's done, it's been done for the last 25 years.
Regional Planning Commission assisted the Planning Commission in writing the UDR.
So okay, if that's the case, then where did all the River Corridor Act and all that stuff come from? Where'd that come from?
That's all state law.
No, it's not state law. Okay, that's what you guys gotta do your homework. That's not state law. Okay? They cannot take your land, any property from you without compensation. You have to be paid when they start taking stuff. When they come in there and they say the river corridor, when that was under COVID, when they did that, right, Mike? They come in here and they said, oh, we're gonna make the river corridor, so you're gonna lose your rights, but they're not paying us nothing for it. Us landowners, everybody owns the land in the river corridor. You do, you own land in the river corridor, you own it, I own it, everybody else that is in a brook, a river, or anything owns that land. The state don't own it, the Rutland Regional Planning Commission doesn't own it. We own it. And every single time you guys sign off on something, we lose our property rights.
All those river corridors in Castleton are already floodplains.
It doesn't matter. There's
does. You
floodplain and there's floodway. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Where those river corridors are, you could never get a building permit for a residential building, and you still can.
Could until Rutland Regional Planning Commission came in.
And you
If it's
still
built
can
up, what
for
you gotta
farm
do.
accessory
I'll give you an example. I won't use no names, but I can tell you, on the river corridor, a guy just spent 2 or 3 years ago, $350,000 to put up some new buildings. He had to go down, now this is supposedly in the floodplain, okay? He hired an engineer to come in, they checked it out, he had to raise that up 2.5 feet, and he was out of it. But the way you guys have done this, he can't do that no more.
And he shouldn't do it.
Why shouldn't he?
Because it's in a floodplain.
Not if he raises it up so it's out of the floodplain,
So then where does that water go?
it goes around it.
To somebody else's property.
Well, if it's on somebody else's property, but he owns a lot of land there, so it probably was on his land.
It was natural floodplain, and that's a safety valve when there's high water. And if you
So
push
then-
that
so then,
water
Mark,
off
so
your
when
property,
when you
it
talk like
goes
that,
on
Mark,
someone else's.
Listen for a second. Route 30, when Route 30 was built, and all these roads that were built that are in floodplains, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna take all them roads out now?
Well, of course, we're not gonna take.
Okay, then,
And we're
use
not
some
gonna
common
take a house
sense.
out
But
that
you're
was already
but
built.
you're gonna steal somebody else's property rights.
It's not stealing anyone's
It's
property.
absolutely stealing it.
It's making sure that the person that owns property in the floodplain doesn't abuse the property rights of somebody else. The water always went on that floodplain, and when you push it off of it, it has to go someplace. You're destroying someone else's
Well,
property.
when they built Route 30, they destroyed it.
Sure, that happened in the 1800s probably.
It don't matter, they still did it. But this.
We took land from the Indians too, and that probably wasn't right,
But we can't fix that tonight.
If you go under all these new regulations that you guys have supported, and ladies, okay? Your kids, your grandkids, everybody's kids and grandkids, we ain't gonna have nothing left here for them to be able to do in this state.
You know,
You
I
guys
think,
are stealing property rights, and you're raising our property taxes so high that people cannot afford to live here. People that have been here all their lives. And you guys think it's okay.
Charlie, we put a municipal budget forth and people overwhelmingly voted for it.
Absolutely, because everybody cares about their town. But there's gonna be a point when it's gonna stop, because people are tired. They look at their school budgets, 80% of our taxes go to school budgets. We have 1,236 kids in our school district, 1,236, that's it. For Benson, Orwell, West Haven, Fairhaven, Castleton, and Hubbardton. 1,236 kids, $33 million. Then they sit there and they tell us, oh, it's only costing you $11,000 a student. Well, it's pretty simple math. You divide 1,236 kids into $33 million, and it's a hell of a lot more than $11,000 a student.
I didn't vote for that budget.
I understand. There's a lot of people that didn't, but they still did pass. But, and they say, oh, don't worry about it.
But that's not what we did here. We put forth a municipal budget that was very fair and make sure that our town is gonna have the services and equipment that it needs going forward, and people overwhelmingly supported it.
I understand that. I supported it. But I'm saying is, if it continues down the road, we're not gonna be able to support it.
Well, then when that happens, Charlie, we'll have to figure out what services to cut. You've been on this board, you know what it's like. If, you know, what
Absolutely.
roads are we not going to plow, or what are we not going to do?
Don't start that.
No,
It's
I'm-
not that you can save money by doing a lot of different things. When I was on this board for 8 years, what we did, and Bob was on it for a few of them, instead of going out and buying a new piece of equipment all the time, we went and bought used equipment like 85% of all businesses do. And we saved a shitload of money, ton of money. And we turned our highway department from a shithole into a good place. We went to the sewer plant when I was on the board, and we spent $24.5 million on a sewer upgrade, and we went from the worst sewer plant in the state to the best. And the sewer rate never increased the way we did it. And there's a lot of ways you can do that, but you gotta think outside of the box in order to be able to do it.
So what do you have for comments that are specific to the UDR, Charlie?
I've said enough. That's it. You guys voted on this stuff, you're approving it, you're gonna go along with it. I think it's terrible what you're doing to the taxpayers of the town by making all these changes. And it's gonna come back and haunt everybody before we're done. Mark my words, it definitely will.
And for
I
what,
would expect that anybody else, Mark, I was really disappointed that you didn't get back to me. And I wasn't gonna keep hounding you.
I don't recall telling you I was gonna do that. I apologize if I'm in error. I know that that night that we were here, they told us it would be up on their website, and that's what it was. I mean, nobody got a printed copy of that map. If I told you that, I'm sincerely sorry, but I thought it was understood by everyone that it would be on their website in the next week.
But we definitely have got to start thinking outside the box to keep our town feasible for everybody to live here.
We certainly want that.
Charlie, you were here the night they redid the restructuring on the map. Were you happy when you left here that night? Were you satisfied with what they wanted to do?
Well, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to affect any businesses, any of the 50 or 60 businesses in town. Because if you change an area and you have businesses in that town and you allow them to do more things, it affects the businesses that are in that area. I want to make sure that them businesses in this, the 50, 60 businesses we have in town, every one of them are protected. Every one of them.
Charlie, I voted for it because you told me that it wasn't going to affect me.
What's that? No, I told you it was going to affect you.
No, you told me it was okay. It was going to be to my advantage.
No, because if you remember right, Mary, they got you zoned differently than the rest of us. And he tried to tell you that night that you didn't have good permeable soil, when you've got the best permeable soil in the state.
But to be clear, what they're doing is not zoning.
Well, it most certainly is not. How can you sit there and
This is
say
zoning.
that?
This is zoning. What they're doing is saying because the state of Vermont is interested in providing more housing, because housing is a problem, and one of the problems is getting permits to build it. And they're working with the state to identify areas that already have services, water and sewer, and trying to make it easier to build housing in those areas.
And who created the problem of the housing shortage in the city of Vermont?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors to that.
Well, no, the main, you know what the main factor is the regulations from the state of Vermont. Act 249, Act 250. Act 249 is just as bad or worse than Act 250
And that's what this is designed to do, is to find areas
in
where.
certain areas.
In certain areas where there's already water and septic, that it would be easier to build, for
That
sure.
night, I brought up and asked, how many sewer allotments do we have left? I believe you said 50 or 100?
Not a lot.
We were at half capacity. I
We
think.
were at 50% capacity, way more than 50 or 100 allotments.
Okay, so how many allotments we have left? And you're saying we have 1,000 allotments left?
More than that, I think.
250 gallons is considered an allotment by the state, so.
Yeah, we're at, how many users do we have?
The reality is,
1,371 or.
Yeah, so we have roughly 1,300.
We're at roughly 50% capacity, Charlie.
What?
After the current upgrades, we're at roughly 50% of our capacity.
so about 1,300. The reality is, there probably isn't a space in those designated downtown areas where developers can come in and want to build market share housing in Castleton. But if they were, this would make it easier. But it doesn't change
Who's gonna
zoning.
pick up the cost if that happens and you need more water? Because we don't even handle our water. That's entirely separate.
That's all listed in the UDR.
That's entirely separate. We got,
Yes.
what, 4 different water districts? We have, and the select board has no control over none of that whatsoever.
We have 2 water districts, Charlie.
No, you have 4.
One in 3
Water
are.
districts where you have 4 different districts, water districts, even though that, because you have the power one, the one in Hyattville was separate.
There's 1 is water and lights, 2 is lights, 3 is water.
Yeah, there's 2 for water and 1 for lights.
So we have 3.
2 of them are specific for water.
But one of them, you only get the water from just one of them.
Correct, we know that. Just for what it's worth, I have talked to a couple of people as recently, one last week, who was really happy that his taxes went down, not by much, but $200 a year, his taxes went down. So there's, we found,
With the grand list going up as much as it is, it should have dropped considerably more than that.
well, I found that there's some on both sides of the fence here, so we've got a little more digging to do there. Do you have any more discussion on the UDR, Charlie?
You guys go ahead and do what you gotta do, but remember one thing. When you guys make these decisions and you vote for this stuff, don't look at this week, next week, or next year, or 2 years. You look down the road, because that's where it's gonna cost us. And then all of us people that have lived here all of our lives, and all the new people that come in here wanna live here the rest of their lives, they're not gonna be able to afford to live here. And it's coming fast, real fast. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I wish you could get more people to come and give us input at these meetings. We sit here most nights with nobody here.
Yeah, I know, because people get disgusted because they come and nobody listens. That's why. That's why I don't come anymore. Nobody listens. You leave and you do the same thing.
Right?
Can you confirm was the 20 to 25% land mass left in there?
He had asked a question.
Oh, that's on the table of uses. I did not check that, but that was supposed to be made. And it was on Frank Johnson's list of edits that he made, and we checked those edits happened, but I haven't
You know what I'm
looked.
talking about?
I do now, yeah, it's on the, table of use, no. It's about the 25% on a small lot.
Correct. On small lots.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Just
under
small
20,
lots.
yeah, and I don't remember what page that's on, does it? Can someone help me with that? I mean, I can find it, but it might take a minute.
Yeah, that's gonna take.
But I'm pretty confident that got done, but we'll double check, Roy. 'Cause I remember you bringing that up and we made the decision to change it.
Is there a certain page of I believe it was gonna be on page 14. 14 or 15.
Oh, there it is, yeah, this is the table of uses, right?
Page 14. Yes, that change has been made,
Thank you.
What line is it, maybe, you know what line it is?
right there.
That one right there. On the bottom.
Yes, that change has definitely been made. Residential, well, there's two places, village commercial and residential, which is 2 lines up. So those changes were made. Any other discussion on the UDR? It's been moved and seconded, we approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None opposed? Short-term rental policy discussion. The town manager brought this up just because it's time to dust this off and see if we can make some progress. I was looking at the draft that we have, and on page 3,
Which one are you looking at, Chairman? Does it say draft on the front? Because I think that, if that was the one in your packet, Rob had sent a different one. Was it-
yeah, the one I have 2 versions.
So the one that does not say the big watermark with draft, the other one's the correct one.
This is the correct one, with a little.
Correct.
Which one?
The one that doesn't have the watermark.
Okay.
Okay, that's not the one that was in our packet, correct?
Correct. Rob had sent, after the packets were put out, Rob had sent a message saying that there was a updated version from that.
Chairman,
Yeah.
I have next a copy.
So that would be under section 5.3. Let's see if that's still in the new version.
What was changed
Yeah.
in the new version?
Yeah, the question I have is on page, well, there's no page numbers on this, but it's section 5.3. It says date, duration, and number of guests for each short-term rental period stay. Is that supposed to be in the annual report?
I think you're looking at the wrong one. We want the one that says draft on it.
Mike just said that wasn't the one.
That's the one that I had Christine print off, and you said it was not the right one.
No. I don't think so.
Well, in either case, it's on both documents, section 5.3. I would need some clarification on what that requirement means in their annual report. It seems like that's an unrealistic expectation to want the date, duration, and number of guests for each short-term rental period stay in an annual report to the town.
That was something that came off of, sample ones. I would agree that that should be stricken.
Well, or modified at least, or maybe the estimated number of guests or whatever, but
But that
not-
should be pretty easy for someone to come up with, right? Their keeping rooms and meals tax. They have to report that.
But why would they want to, why would we require that to be reported to the town? I mean, that's a lot of documentation that I don't think we're ever really going to need,
Yeah, you're right. Correct.
realistically expected to need.
Yep, we're not gonna use it.
I think it's important that the expected capacity always be disseminated, particularly if
Yeah.
when emergency services are dispatched.
Yeah, we don't
Or
wanna
the
make
health-
it cumbersome, we wanna make it
Yeah.
easy for people to do this, but they need to follow some regulations.
So you did go through this, Rob?
Yeah, it's the one that we've been working on, but it was the copy that says draft, at least the copy that I have, this is draft.
I've got both.
Well, I have the 2 versions, so let's pick one.
So you're gonna wanna if you look at, the simplest thing is if you look at 1, 2, the
I
top
can't-
of page 3, the base fee for all application is $100. Cause the other one has the base fee is $50.
Okay,
The $100 one was the latest one.
so let's,
And that one had the sewer to protect our community's watershed and groundwater, septic inspections.
so when do we expect to make more progress on this? I have a suggestion. Version control is,
Yeah, I stand corrected. I'm the one that put the word draft on there after you sent it to me. So I apologize. The one that does not have the draft watermark is the first one you got. I put draft on that.
So one of the things that was in here that we were trying to deal with and we were waiting on was, parking. We were still working on the traffic ordinance. There was a section on that where it says, in violation of the parking regulations section of the town of Castleton vehicle and traffic ordinance. We don't have an update on that traffic ordinance yet, so that was something that was kinda being hung out. And another issue is gonna be inspections, who we were gonna do to have the inspections. Cause I think we're up over 100 short-term rentals in town now.
I spoke with Division of Fire Safety, that's why about inspections, so if you want me to.
Yeah,
is
go
now
ahead
the
and throw
appropriate
that.
time? So I called Division of Fire Safety, and I asked them, they do not do
Less than
inspections
nine,
unless it's either a violation's been reported, or if it's like new construction. So I asked them about certificates of occupancy, because this was brought up a while ago. When Jim is done as health officer, to have the building inspector / health officer person in there, and this comes from just the years of going to calls on the fire department, or just dealing with complaints from the health offices, that we go into places that smoke detectors aren't working or not there. Inspections haven't been done on portions of the property that are not. Division of Fire Safety, this is GJ Garrow I talked to, they're not gonna let us do electrical and plumbing and stuff like that. We don't have the expertise to do that. But we could go to the building inspector 1 and 2 class and get trained enough to know, like doing certificates of occupancy particularly. But if it's this commercial stuff, we could do a portion of it, but we may have to have Division of Fire Safety come in and do those. And he said, if you call us and tell us, we'll put it on our calendar, but they're not fast. That's so it might take them weeks to come and do their inspection.
Yeah. So the one thing with Airbnbs is they have a checklist that that is supposed to be checked out and sent to Airbnb when it's registered. You know, each room's got a smoke detector, you know, each room has an egress, blah, blah, blah. And you'd like to think that everybody is actually following that checklist, but we don't have any way of knowing if they're not. Now, I was in an Airbnb not that long ago, and it's a 2-story house with 3 bedrooms, had 1 smoke detector on the bottom floor. So that's, you know.
That's where their certificates of occupancy could help in this, because it's like, it's really following that building inspection stuff to make sure, it's the basic stuff.
I mean, we want to make sure that people that come to visit our town and rent here are safe.
Charlie, you have input?
So, you guys are gonna have fees, the town is gonna have fees for the Airbnbs?
We're considering it. We're trying to figure out some
That's
way.
what I was just talking about up there, so you guys are willing to take away people's property rights that are paying their property taxes, that are paying their mortgages, that are paying their insurances. You as a board are willing to charge them more money, more fees, okay, because they're renting out their properties so they can keep it. That doesn't make much sense, does it? This is what I was just talking about you guys gotta really, ladies, gotta pay attention to what you're doing, so you're not stealing people's property rights and your ability to make a living off that, to keep their property.
What we're talking about here would be a fee that would basically just cover the cost of the inspection.
We want to make sure that if somebody is providing commercial lodging, that it's safe. That, you know, you don't have somebody's grandkids staying in a bedroom on a 3rd floor attic that has no egress, no fire.
Who's gonna police this? Who are you gonna have to police this? And where's that money gonna come to do that?
From the fees for the Airbnb rentals.
And you really think that that's gonna cover it?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
You end up hiring somebody, you're gonna be paying their health insurance, you're gonna be paying the whole 9 yards, because they're gonna hop in the union before they're done. You're gonna be paying $50,000-$60,000 a year for this person.
Well, it would be our health inspector
Well,
for the town. That's why we haven't finalized any of this yet, because we're just trying to work through the bugs of it.
We're trying to figure this out, Charlie. There's nothing.
Unbelievable that you're gonna do this. And I understand what you're saying, Mark, where you wanna protect the people that are coming here. But it's no different than, people that go rent a motel. Are we gonna start charging them fees, make sure that they're up to code? You know,
They do have to be up to code. And the other issue that
they get inspected by the state, not the town.
And the other issue that we have is that a lot of these homes that are being used for short-term rentals are exceeding their septic capabilities. And that's putting an undue strain on the rest of the town. You know, we have people that are listing homes under short-term rentals, advertising a sleep up to 18 people, and they don't have water or septic to maintain that large a population in the home. And that adversely affects the neighbors.
How do you know that?
Because you have a septic permit for 3-bedroom home for 7 people and you're renting it to 18. And you're using that well that adversely affects your neighbors in some cases.
So what you're saying, Mark, is that all these rentals that we've had for years for the college kids, that's gonna change? Not all the different people that have had these different residences? What's the difference? We've got,
They're on town sewer.
70, 100 people that probably rent housing, go to Castleton College every year.
I think most of those are on town sewer, aren't they?
Some are, not all of them.
And in most cases, they wouldn't be considered short-term rentals either, Charlie. So they would fall into the state jurisdiction where, you know, a landlord has to have smoke detectors and et cetera, and that's not a short-term rental.
3 months, 4 months, is it a short-term rental?
I don't no. It's like 1 week or 2 weeks, under 30 days is a short-term rental.
Under 30 days.
Like when you rent a place on, you know, Hampton Beach to go to the beach for a weekend.
I've never had the ability to do that.
Well, if you were to, this is what this is intended. There's a lot of short,
Again, you're just, if you're putting out, again, you're taking people's rights away from them. And I think it's wrong. 250 years ago, we fought the British, so this didn't happen. You know, and now it's happening, and it's happening worse. It's getting worse as we speak.
Well, if I rent my home to 18 frat kids as a short-term rental, that's not fair to my neighbors. It's taking their property rights away. We just want to make sure that it's fair and equitable for everybody. And a lot of these are properties that are owned by LLCs, people that don't live in the community, don't have a vested interest here, and they could care less if they're renting it to somebody that creates a public disturbance to the neighborhood. We just want to make sure that everybody has their property rights. The people on both sides of these homes have a right to, you know, a normal level of privacy and noise.
So you said that you had somebody that said you could service 40 people. How many of them do you have at Dept? Because
I'm sorry, say that again?
you said a few minutes ago you had somebody that was renting out that you could do 40 people?
No, 18.
18, well, 18, okay. So you really think we got a lot of them in town?
There's roughly 100 Airbnbs in town at this point now, which is up.
And how many of them 100 say that you can rent out 18 people?
that's one of the things we're trying to quantify. We don't know.
We don't have any idea other than if we sit down and go through VRBO and Airbnb, each single one in town, and go through and look and see, which is what we're trying to eliminate.
Because when they do that, it takes away from the property rights of their neighbors.
So we're not going to be passing this or even making any real serious decisions on this tonight. This is mainly to dust this off because we talked about this, 6 months or a year ago?
Quite a while ago.
And we're trying to dust this off to see if we can make any progress and to see if it's worth doing, and if so, what makes sense. So one thing I do want to do tonight is make sure that we all have the same version when we move forward. So the one that says draft version and dated, let's put draft 1 and today's date on it and discard anything that we have that predates this, for starters, so that we're all on the same piece of paper.
This one is junk, this one's trash.
Roy's got his hand up too. Give it a second, Jim.
Yes, Roy?
This is the first draft I have seen of this, first time tonight. 4 pages, all kinds of different information in here. Has this been mailed to every one of the 100 RVs.
We
No.
haven't even gotten that far yet, Roy.
We're nowhere near that far yet.
Well, you haven't got that far. Shouldn't you already alert them that this is going on?
It's
And
been
they
in the,
should be in here to start talking to us?
it's been in the minutes and it's been on the
I have an
agenda.
apartment, and I could easily want to use one of them as a short-term R&B. And I'm already regulated by the state of Vermont. It doesn't seem to me as though I need to be regulated again. Now, as I say, I haven't read through this yet to figure out what you're trying to do. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Roy, you need to get the right one. I don't think he's got the right one.
I'll give him this
Well,
one.
I got draft.
Yeah, that's
No,
not the right
I'll give
one.
you this one.
You need a different one. Just make sure you get it from Mike.
I need a different one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the,
Said no, this is.
It's this one with the
When
sideways
you get
one.
the right one,
Yeah,
it's okay to speak here. When
Right
you get the
here.
right one, every person, all these people should get a copy of this immediately.
But we don't know how to find them all. That's the whole point of this.
You find them on the internet, you find them everywhere.
Yeah, but when you go through the internet, it goes to the Airbnb website and you can't get their private information from that. That's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to create a list of everybody that has short-term rentals.
So when you do get that list, everybody.
We
should
can't get
this.
that list.
Well, so you're gonna create this problem before anybody even knows about it. That's typical government. You should. the
We can't do much
the
more than-
landowner- Excuse me, the landowners should be warned and know what's going on when their property rights are being taken away from them. Really simple.
We can't do much more than advertise it and put it on the agenda for the select board. What more can we do to the people that we don't know who they are? And we have no way of gaining that information?
Well, when my neighbor wants to do something with their property, the zoning board, or if I want to do something with my property, I have to warn all the neighbors around me. So you're telling me you guys you can't figure out who it is?
They're not required to tell us that they're doing it. What we're doing is making it a requirement for them to tell us they're gonna do short-term rentals. Right now, they can do that in this town, and we have absolutely no idea who's doing it.
And most of them are LLCs owned by out-of-state
Do
entities.
you know that for a fact,
Uh,
Mike?
I guess I couldn't prove, I don't have documentation to
Okay, so
prove that.
Don't make an accusation like that unless you can prove it, okay? That's what really ticks me off with you guys. You make accusations, you say stuff that is not true, or might not be true, and once it gets out in public, everybody thinks it's true. You should know the facts. You should do your homework before you do this.
I know that they're not, most of them are not owner occupied, and they're owned by people that do not live in the village. Very, very few of these. There are some, the people that you're talking about, that are trying to make extra income to pay their taxes by renting a room in their house. That's not the norm in this business.
Don't we have the property owner records?
There is property owner records. But to find these people, you would have to go on the Airbnb website every night and see what's available. There's usually about 70 every night in Castleton. Write down the address, go search through the records, find out who that was, and mail it to them. And then you might not get all of them. There's also Airbnb, Vrbo, there's a new one now too. That house, when you cross Float Bridge on the left, with the weird angles, that's rented under a.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's another one now that they market themselves as more luxurious than Airbnb. I mean, it puts a tremendous onus on the town to try and figure out who's renting them because they're not registered. We don't have any way to send out an email to short-term rental owners.
So how many of these people do you think, when you pass this law, if you pass it, how many of them people do you think is going to come forward?
Well, it's going to be a process for sure. It's going to be
Absolutely. So,
like the people whose houses are under appraised. They're not going to come. Some of them won't come forward for sure.
yeah, well, there's a hell of a lot more that are appraised more than there is under appraised.
Well, at this point, we're
The gentleman
trying,
next to you found it to be the other way.
at this point, we're trying to figure out how to figure this out. So, there's no action that's gonna be taken tonight.
No, I said they were underappraised compared to my house,
Right.
right?
Mr. Chairman, With the ordinance, we'd have to warn a public meeting anyway.
Yeah, there's a whole process that we're
It's
not even.
It's not just being on an agenda, we'd have to warn the public meeting, so.
So what's next steps on this?
We need the traffic ordinance if we don't want, unless we want to take that out, but
That's in the manager's report, so let's move on and we'll talk about that during the manager's report, because that's on your report, isn't it, Mike? The
Yeah, I talked to
traffic ordinance?
Justin today about it.
good start, Robert.
It's a great start, but we're nowhere near done. There's a lot of work to do. Manager's report. That's where the traffic ordinance is gonna come up. Hit the highlights, Mike, and then open it for questions.
Sure. Page one, the pedestrian accessibility grant for Main Street. We have a meeting on the 21st with the selection committee to look at the V-Trans at the ready list for design engineer. And that was, I asked Dick if he would be on the board, and so if you guys all agree with that, then on the 21st, myself, DPW foreman and Mr. Combs would be on that selection committee, or anybody else that wants to be.
You okay with that, Mr. Coombs?
Yeah,
Okay.
he asked me and I agreed to it, but
Okay.
if you really want to do it in my place,
No, I didn't say that.
You're welcome
I
to
was-
step up.
No, I was just asking.
I asked him because he was part of the process when this all started. so.
Yeah, absolutely.
The South Street project was put out to bid, that from the university down to Main Street, that sidewalk project was put out to bid. And there's a pre-bid meeting, site visit on the 13th, on Wednesday. On page number 5, transfer station, under operations. The scale, yeah, I think everybody is aware that we were looking at what it would cost to repair the decking on the scale. And the chief operator, Heath Goyette, was soliciting quotes for both the steel and somebody to do the welding. Our mechanic looked at it and is not comfortable doing the work that's required on that one. And he's not a, 20-year veteran of welding, so. I know that Heath talked to 2 local welders, and one of them gave him it wasn't an official quote, but gave an idea what it would cost. And we're looking at possibly, and this is, don't quote me on this, Heath told me that they're looking at a new scale and what the price difference between a new one it is, because even if you put a new scale down, you're still putting it down on some old infrastructure. But we want to keep it so we don't have to tear up the concrete. We want to be able to put something right back down on what we have for that infrastructure. And there's approximately $100,000 in that reserve. I'd be cautious obligating that money because the compactor bin falls under that repair and the Freightliner itself. So we're trying to bring something back to the board that's doesn't break the bank, but gets us some longevity out of the scale. Yep.
Didn't Bob Ward do some patches on the compactor a few years ago?
It does. The rails rot, and so it's ongoing. But there comes a point where there's going to be a little bit more cutting and welding that might have to happen on it. But we're not at that point yet. We believe that we can keep making repairs to it.
How many decades has that compactor been there now?
I don't remember. Remember we were up there talking.
We were.
He said it was like 50 years or something like that.
I don't.
But we know that the scale's been there 25. Farnham said that it was like 25 years
I'm
old.
pretty confident the compactor's been there less than 40 years.
Yeah.
But how much less than 40, I'm not sure.
He said it was there when he started working here, and he's been here, 25 years.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't there when I moved into town.
So more to follow. We'll try to do something that's going to get us over the hump, but not deplete a reserve account that we need. On page number 6, sewer infrastructure, wastewater collection system expansion, Depot Terrace. That project was also put out to bid. I believe it was already been posted in the Rutland Herald, but it's supposed to, I believe, come out in the Lakeside News on Wednesday. And on our website. And it's on the state's, state listing that the engineer put it on.
When is that due back, Mike? Do you know? Is there-
Top of my head, I don't, Bob, sorry.
That's okay.
We extended, there was, I think I shared an email, he asked, the engineer asked to extend the deadline for the packet, and I agreed to that.
Okay.
So, but it puts it out into September, I believe. Like 5 September keeps coming to mind, but I'm not sure if that's correct or not. But I believe I sent you guys an email saying, I said this is FYI.
Can I interrupt a minute? Is anyone cold besides me?
I don't know, that's why I have this on. Not that I'm cold, but I have a sunburn in it.
No, it's probably blowing right over to you. It's pretty nice right here, so.
You wanna trade places?
I can.
Never mind.
I did back it off from 70
you
to
did.
74.
Are you cold? Would you like me to turn it down?
I'm freezing. My feet are cold, my nose is running.
Well, we can't have that.
I think I have a fleece vest out in the truck I can go get for you, if that would help.
I'm on page 6, Crystal Heights. So I spoke with our assessor
Thank you.
and I spoke with a local realtor, and the realtor said that she recommends that we have somebody, a professional, appraise the property. But the question is, are they appraising 3 properties? Are they appraising some subdivided lots? Because those are 10-acre lots. So that, because I know part of there is some wet property up there that falls on the map. So however you break that parcel down, part of it's not gonna be buildable anyway. But, so
What's the
I
total acreage?
30 point something, each lot's just a smidgen over 10 acres.
It's already been subdivided.
Yeah, they're already split up, three 10-acre lots. I say 10-acre smidgen plus. But I asked her about the dollar, what municipal sewer, how could you equate having municipal sewer at the property? How would it equate to value? And kind of the standard answer from her was, what's a mound system cost? If your land can't put a traditional system in, what would it cost for a mound system for that property? But she said, generally speaking, 50 grand. Probably, Heath was here the other day too, where like, it could be as low as like maybe 35 and goes over 50, but don't really have a set number, but it does increase the value having municipal sewer.
What we really would like to know, correct me if I'm wrong, the rest of the board, is what the potential is up there. Is there a spot for one house or 10? And we need to know that because that is all part of the formula that we need to come up with for possibly expanding the sewer up to Crystal Heights.
So
So we need to know the potential of what could be developed up there on that 30
I
acres.
think that's a little complicated on each parcel, because each parcel is going to be evaluated, 'cause I'm not sure if it'll perk, if it's, there's no water up there, so they're going to have wells. So I'm not sure the potential. I mean, if you just look at it and say it's 10 acres and is there a buildable spot in there? I don't know, And just hire an assessor to look at it, he wouldn't know that either, he or she would know
You have
that.
to have an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Charlie would probably know more about that.
The 30 acres up on top of Crystal Heights, Charlie, is what we're talking about.
Was that Larson's property or the town's property?
The town owns 30 acres up there.
But it's not, it doesn't touch Crystal Heights, does it?
It touches Burke's property, which is at the top.
So you don't even have access.
Well, there's a road,
You must have access of Pencil Mill Road.
there's access up there, there's an easement up through there, and I'm not sure about Pencil Mill. Because it doesn't touch Pencil Mill.
There might be right away on that. Did you get, anybody look at the deeds?
No, we haven't pulled the deeds. I know at the top, I talked to Downsy. And there's access at the top of the hill.
We need to find out if there's potential up there. I mean, if there isn't, then we can stop talking about it. So the question is, how do we find out if there's any potential for development up there? And if there is not, then it's just another piece of town land that we can't do anything with. But if there's potential for development, we need to find out what that potential is, and then make some decisions before we move forward with the Crystal Heights sewer project.
Definitely it's gonna be,
Land was all part of the town farm, so I would say when they developed that, they must have made a right of way to get to that land. So you gotta look at the deeds.
We probably do have a right of way, but Charlie, if it's not developable for other reasons, then we need to know that as well. So, we either,
Well, you can put a mound system pretty much anywhere today. And
It's
you
just-
can, you can put them in from anywhere from 20,000 to 50,000. Because the new Presby systems are pretty reasonable.
I personally, I gotta walk all that property, because I've only walked the one that's behind, Burke's place, John's place. The other two I haven't walked, and I was told that by people that hunt up there, it's steep. There is some ledge, so I don't really, me, the layman, I couldn't tell you if it's buildable or not.
so how do we find out?
You have to get a site technician in there to see if you can get a mound system put in.
But we're talking about running municipal sewer up that road.
Still gonna cost you to get it to where the house could go.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to figure out, Charlie, is if it even practical to have the discussion. That's where I'm trying to get to.
Would this offset some of the cost of running the sewer line up there?
So I'll research more about, somebody that could do this work, but it's way beyond what I can do and a realtor is gonna do,
I don't
or our
think-
assessor.
I don't think anyone at this table is qualified.
First thing, you gotta get somebody to do it on the deed.
Yeah, I'll look at the deeds.
Yeah.
Check the deed and see if you got it right away.
Yeah.
Where it is.
That we can do with town staff.
I can do the deed research.
Yep, we'll check that and talk about it at the next meeting.
During the Board of Sewer Commissioners meeting, I was asked about assessing the current infrastructure, and I've asked Wayne Graham from Vermont Rural Water Association if he could have that conversation with me on Tuesday. I'd rather meet in town, but I know he's stretched across the state, so it might be unlikely that he comes here on the 12th, but if he can't come here on the 12th, I'll have the initial discussion and try to get him down here. But I just want to find a reasonable, cost-effective way to assess the current infrastructure, because as you know, we've had some of that aging asbestos cement pipe that's failing, and our pump stations, some of them are older. So I just want to get an assessment of where we're at and bring it back to the board. On page number 9, under South Street Trestle, I received an extension today from V-Trans for that grant up until 30 September of 2026. So I talked to Jeff after the highway foreman. We're gonna submit the bids, or put the bids out there. There was 4 contractors that were interested in that, and since then, it's down to 1. So we're gonna have to probably cast the net wider.
What scared them off, Mike?
What's that?
What scared them off?
The footings, because we couldn't answer the question at the time. If they start excavating around those footings and they find something that's wrong or looks out of place, what happens at that point? And Jeff met with the bridge engineers from V-Trans, and they have no concerns with that, those footings at this point. So but the downside, what was making me balk at it was, I didn't want to have to come back to the select board and say that South Street's going to be shut down for a longer period of time, because there's other work that has to get done. That was what I balked at in the beginning, not having an answer. Because no one wants South Street shut down for a long period of time while they figure out what they're going to do with fixing these footings if there was a problem.
Are you gonna widen it?
What's that?
Are you gonna widen
Yeah, it's, I mean, because they have to do something with the bridge abutments there, and the state doesn't even want, they don't even really want us messing around them, but they know that's gotta get done. But the change of the culvert, because there's an old concrete box culvert in there now, and, we can't, we could replace it with a concrete box culvert, but the cost was enormous compared to a steel culvert, because it has to have the baffles for aquatic passage, and, I mean, that's just Josh, we had Josh Coverhall from Rivers and Streams there so many times looking at that thing. It's just what they require. So, we've got the culvert. I mean, that's been ordered. It's just now getting the thing put in. But we are gonna have to do, there's two culverts, there's one on the east side and the west side that need to be replaced. There's a utility pole that's kind of just hanging out in the middle of nowhere there. It's at the footing, it was where the bank goes down, there's like nothing around it. It's all kind of just free floating right now. They put another pole in, but it's still there. And then the guardrails need to be replaced. Then we have to still pave it, so we're trying to, I doubt it's gonna be done, that's why I asked for the extension, because there's no way it would've been done by December 31st of this year.
When you pave it, you're gonna grind the road down so you don't lose any of the height.
Yeah, we have to put it back at the same height, because, there's not much room for error there, so, we just agreed that it's gonna go back at the same height, not like the sidewalk height, going back at the same height. I say that jokingly. But yeah, so, more to follow, but we gotta get it, put back out the bid and get people on it as a mandatory, pre-bid meeting on site, so that we all are talking the same language. Still on page 9, the New Holland mower, that's still down for a part that's on order, so just waiting for it to come in. Bad news on the wood chipper. They assessed it. We're looking at about a $9,000 fix, anywhere from $9,000 to $12,000. We're doing a little more. We're not taking it at face value. We're doing a little more research on it, but that's what Champlain Valley Equipment, their assessment. I talked to the foreman and the mechanic today, and I said, if we put $12,000 into this thing, what's the rest of the machine in shape-wise? Is it, we putting a $12,000 fix on a rust bucket that's gonna fall apart? And the answer is no, it's in decent enough shape. The new one, for that same size, is like 40 grand. For that same type size, so we're facing a $9,000 to $12,000 fix possibly, don't know that yet. It's not something our mechanic can do. And then, or look at buying a new one, and I think there's enough bones left on that thing, we should just get it fixed.
How old is it?
I don't have the sheet in front of me, it's probably 20 years old.
How many hours a year would we use it if we had it operational?
Per year? I don't know, probably, I'll say days, like days work, we'd probably use it for 6 or 7 days on the, going out and chipping, cutting back on the roadsides. So it's not used heavily.
Wouldn't be cheaper to rent one for the 6 or 7 days.
Well, we talked about that today too, and said, what's the cost of renting one, and we just rent only when we need it, and we don't have to worry about maintaining it and everything else, so.
I think we should look at that possibility. That's why I asked how many hours a year we use it.
Yeah, the mechanic brought that up today, and they're gonna look and give me an estimate.
The most cost-effective alternative. I mean, sometimes we want to go buy a new machine or fix a machine, and it's more cost-effective to not own one.
We did that with the mower for a long time, but then they got to the point where you couldn't get the mowers without scheduling over a year in advance to get the time frame you wanted it. And then if it's down for maintenance, then it blows yours out of the water, and then you can't get it at all, or way down the road.
We need to find out if a wood chipper is as readily available as, say, renting a man lift, because I can have one of those tomorrow if I need it.
Do we mow again, or are we all done mowing?
No, the Kubota's back in operation. They told me today that they're gonna be back out mowing roadsides with, the Kubota, and then once the part's in for the New Holland, they'll get that back mowing too. I got some complaints up on East Hubbardton Road, because I noticed the work they did on Rice Willis and South Street, some of that's already grown right back up, so they're gonna, I mean, it's just almost like never ending. By the time you finish through one end of town, you're back doing it again, so. But there, yes, so the Kubota's back, going with the flail mower, and they'll be back out.
Terry Fowler has been up and cleaned around that.
Okay. Yeah, I sent him a text message, and, he said he would go up and look at it.
Couldn't even see it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Progress is good. On page number 15. Town office, the heat pump was fixed in the town clerk's office. Paul believes that that was the source of the refrigerant leak without doing some extensive testing. We'll find out now that, because they'll run out of Freon with that leak. But it was $1,700 for the new unit and between labor. It was more for labor than it was for the unit. Salt shed. Jeff told me today that he's meeting with Tim Rice and Brad from Fabian's, Kendall, this week to go over the plan for the salt shed.
That'll be operational before winter, right?
Oh, yeah, yes, it'll be operational for winter. Key control at the rec center, I'm on page 10. I've asked Royals, we did order the key cards. I authorized the purchase of the key cards and the tape, the ribbon for this tape they needed, and we're gonna switch away from those metal keys, except for I'm gonna have Royals change that front door lock to one of those do not duplicate locks, because right now, you can go down to Gilmore's and get them made, and that's not good for accountability on that. So I haven't heard back from Agnes on the quote, but for the lock change, but the key cards were ordered. I'm on page 17, traffic ordinance. I spoke with Justin Shreko today. He's gonna talk to Chief Mantello and see what needs to get done, and he said I'm willing to put in the effort to get this thing re-energized again. I think the traffic ordinance was dated in the 80s, like 86. On page 18, the board approved the purchase of large diameter hose for the fire department. That was received and is in service for the stuff that failed the hose test.
Yeah, that's the stuff the college bought us decades ago that failed.
We got some
So
time on that
we
one.
got our money's worth out of it.
I'm on page 21 under stormwater. After I typed this, I talked to Jeff today, the highway foreman, and they're meeting tomorrow at the Green Mountain Church of Christ with Wilkes, and Chris Turgeon was notified, so, from the church, so she can be there, or have a rep there. And that, just to refresh your memory, that was to separate out that initial quote to take how much it would cost to pave back to the right of way, and then the rest of it would be on the church, so. That's happening tomorrow.
I'm sorry, say what time again?
I'd have to look it up. It's tomorrow. I don't remember off the top of my head what the time was, but,
Oh, just send me a text or something.
okay, I'll do
I
that.
can get over there, I will. Because I got the invite from Jeff, but it didn't tell me what date or time.
Oh,
All it said is that there was gonna be a meeting.
I'll follow up with you.
Maybe I'm not smart enough to crack the code on that particular format, but
All right, I'll follow up with you. It's at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
9 tomorrow?
Correct. I'm also on page 22, reappraisals. So I think, Rob, you were at the Board of Civil Authority meeting last week. It was last week, where they met and they discussed some late grievance filings, and they discussed the voter rolls. And they approved or denied 2 of the requests that were submitted late for the grievances to the Board of Civil Authority. Was there one they approved? No.
There was only 2 that came in late.
And then you guys are working on setting meetings, or did set a meeting for the first hearing?
Yeah, we have the dates all scheduled out.
So it's gone past assessors, and now it's in the Board of Civil Authority's hands.
Wednesday night, I think is the first one.
It is.
Yeah, the second one, which is there's one of them, I talked to Nedra today, I can't make the one Wednesday of this week, but I can do the other ones. And one of those, she's really gonna need people. One, I think the 25th, she's all set, but the other one, that's next week, she's a little light on people, so if anyone can make that one, it'd be great. I don't recall the dates off the top of my head.
I said I could do tomorrow and I can do a Thursday, the following week, I think.
Any questions for the town manager before we move on?
I have none.
Purchase orders. Do we have any purchase orders?
Okay, all set? Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 054376 to Student Transportation Incorporated for the sum of $2,048.48, and that is the summer camp busing.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 054418 to Catalyst Tax and CAMA for the sum of $3,445, and that's for the maintenance support and the annual fee.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
This is for the assessors, just if anybody.
Yeah, it's the assessor software. Did I call that question?
You did not.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 054375 to Innovative Solutions for the sum of $7,440 for 6,000 gallons of calcium chloride.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 054314 to Champlain Valley Equipment for the sum of $2,764.02, and that is to install the Geith coupler on the excavator.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Move right on to warrants, Bob. Rob, if you're ready.
Yep. Would make a motion to approve warrant number 0807 for the sum of $18,568.91. Warrant number 0808 for the sum of $24,886.99. Warrant number 0811 for the sum of $82,465.90. Warrant number 0731P for the sum of $26,144.32, and warrant number 0807P for the sum of $26,891.68.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're looking for 5 when they get back to you, Rob. I'll read this during select board comments.
You're gonna read it?
Or you can.
Don't know.
Thought that was nice.
Yes, that is nice.
Puts a little effort into,
Yeah.
thank
You're younger than I am.
Roy was gonna volunteer to run over, but.
He's younger than I am too. Aren't you, Roy?
You wanna bet on it?
Want to bet on it, Roy?
I know Mark's younger than me. Yeah, by a year or two. How old are you?
67.
2. 2 years. I know Bob's younger than us.
I am, but Rob's the youngest.
That's also true.
Yeah.
I can vaguely remember, I was just a little guy when you were a little guy.
Yeah.
How many trees you did?
I don't remember that, but.
But your grandmother and my grandmother were buddies.
Huh?
Five of them, Dick.
Perfect. Okay. Select board comments or concerns. Mary Lee?
Yes. We have an 8-member board on the DRB, and we only have 4 members presently on it. So you do not have a quorum to listen to anything. Period. Gone. If you want the dates, I got the dates and I
No,
got
I
the
don't.
minutes it was done.
I find your statement very credible.
Okay.
So we as a board need to, I'm not sure if we have to warn this on the agenda, we probably should. We have to change the quantity of the members of the DRB. We can have a 5 to 9 member board, and we currently have designated an 8-member board. So 4 members is a quorum, right? Or does it have to be 5?
Have to be 5.
So we need to take action on this soon, or the DRB can take no action. Thank you for doing that research.
You're welcome.
Does everyone understand what the issue is?
I do. I was pretty positive, and I'm not, I guess I am second guessing you. I thought it was a 9-member DRB.
It is a 9-member DRB, but we only have 4 members now.
But you mentioned 8. Where am I missing?
I didn't mean 8, 9. We have a 9 board, but we only have 4 members right
We
now.
need 5 more members, is what you're saying.
Or we at least need 1 more to make a quorum.
Okay.
The other alternative is to designate as a 5-member board.
The
And
quorum
then
is
still-
based on
The total number.
not the number serving.
Correct.
Not the number serving, the
Okay.
number that's supposed to be.
And at some point in the past, and I'm sure you have the dates, we as a board designated, you were probably not on the board, but we designated 9 members.
You were on the board,
I
and you were on the board.
I was, yeah.
I was talking to
And I
Mark,
was
saying
on
that
the
Mark
board.
may not have been on the board.
No, I don't think they were.
In a perfect world, it should be 9, right? I mean, you get
Yeah,
more input.
But in a world where it's hard to get volunteers, then
Well, at that point in time, we had,
C9 again.
at that point in time, we had the ability to appoint 9 members, and we did so. It's no longer the case.
Should we move it back to 7 and then the 4 would have a quorum?
We can make it 5, and then if there's more people step up, we can either change the number or we can designate alternates, which almost makes more sense.
So if you make it 5, you only need 3 for a quorum.
That is correct.
This is back in 22, that you put the 9.
You have input, Charlie?
Yeah, when the DRB board was created, it was 5 members. And you guys, the select board over the years, raised it a little bit at a time to 9 members. Because originally, the reason we went to 5 members was that the planning commission was always 9 members. And it seemed to be a pain in the neck when you went to look at a site and you had 9 people traipsing around the site. So we decided at the time that the DRB board, when it was created, would be 5 members, same as the select board. And over the years, they've changed it, made it up to 9. I never realized it was up to 9. I thought it was 7 with 2 alternates.
We had a really large influx of volunteers that wanted to serve, and that was several years ago, 3 years ago, and so we changed the number. And now it's time to rethink that because, as you know, volunteers are hard to come by sometimes.
Can we do that tonight, or does it have to be warned?
I probably should warn it at a meeting. It should be on the agenda.
You can't appoint them without them asking to be on it. I can't say you.
I was just gonna appoint Roy.
I thought we appointed Mary Lee last week.
We
or
did.
Last
You
meeting.
You did
tried.
something, yeah.
We did, but it didn't take.
You pulled a fast one.
Read something to you. Notwithstanding subsection B and C of this section, a municipality may vote at an annual or special meeting to change the number of members that may be appointed to a board of adjustment development review board.
So we have to have a special meeting.
So you'd have to have a special meeting.
We could have a special meeting just prior to a regular board meeting to do that. There's no reason why we couldn't do that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, let's do that at our next meeting.
And the DRB needs to be able to do their job, so.
Yes. And we need to do ours so they can do theirs.
People are waiting on permits, and, or if they don't act in 30 days,
So is that is that gonna cause so let me ask you a question. Is that gonna cause a problem for the DRB if we take action at our next regular select board meeting, or
that's
should
what
we?
I'm gonna go back and find out when they're next, if they're hearing any cases, so I can let you know that.
Because if we have an issue, we could have a special meeting
Before that.
before that to get this done, because we need to allow the DRB to do their job. So if you find that out, and if we have to have a special meeting, we can do it, it shouldn't take long. We can do it almost any time, as long as it's, we have to warn it the proper way. I think it's 24 hours for a special, isn't it?
Yes.
And make sure everyone that wants to know knows. Anything else, Mary Lee? We'll get that done. Rob?
Yeah, nothing.
Mark?
Yeah, we had talked a couple weeks ago, that there's, in a couple locations around town, it appears that there are people living in campers that have been there for quite a while and are probably not hooked up to any form of septic system. What is our next step? I know,
So if they're living in a camper and it's outside of the rules allowed by zoning, then it's a letter of violation sent by the zoning administrator. We have 2 that we're dealing with right now. One has to do with small children involved, and the school and DCF are involved, and the zoning administrator sent a letter of violation to the owner of the property, because the people living in the camper are not the owners of the property. And then there's another one over on West Castleton Road that the police chief called, the zoning administrators called. So the next step for that one is to meet with the property owner, schedule appointment this week, to meet with the, which he said he was agreeable, to meet up there, but he doesn't want us on the property, he'll meet us out at the road to have that initial conversation. But there's multiple campers and structures, there's no sewer, there's a quarry hole there, so I'm not sure where stuff's going, but, we'll get a meeting with them up there. I'm not sure if those are the two properties you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so, letters of violation have been sent to both of them. We haven't heard from one, but the one in West Castleton we have.
Anything else, Mark?
That's it.
Bob?
Am I in violation by parking my camper in front of my garage?
No,
No? I thought in that UDR.
we changed that.
You did change it?
Do you agree with that, Mark?
So you can park it wherever you want?
change it.
Yeah, it has to be in good repair, towable, and you can't live in it for more than 2 weeks
There's nobody living in it.
without getting permission from the DRB.
Just-
it has to be registered.
It has to be registered,
It's
too. It has to be
registered.
towable, it has to be,
Initially, they had said it had to be parked behind the house.
Yeah, that's what I was
And we
gonna.
took that out, yeah.
Okay. 'Cause it's been in front of my garage for a month.
is it registered and towable?
It is,
Then you're legal.
yeah.
The sewer line into the culvert's not though.
If you're gonna have guests stay in it, but you
No.
have to do
That's not happening. either.
proper things and they can only stay for 2
It's
weeks.
just out in front of the garage and not behind the garage like it will be. And I probably shouldn't even bring this up, but did you guys talk about taking one of these two meetings off? Obviously, you didn't talk about taking tonight's off, but normally we take one of the two select board meetings off in August every single year.
I'm going to the next one. I'm on vacation.
Oh, and you're gonna just
We
do it
got
on
a
your
lot
own?
of stuff to do.
Well, that,
Well,
that's why I was not gonna be hot and heavy over it,
you
but.
guys tried, but we don't call them special meetings because there's something that came up that had to be handled, so.
We've
And
tried
you-
that over the years and
Yeah.
it's almost never worked.
And you also added a bunch of stuff to it, which you weren't supposed to the last time, but I'm not blaming you for that.
Some
I
stuff's just
know,
time
I
sensitive,
know,
so.
I know.
That was,
But we never had a problem with it in years past, so I don't know what has changed, but that's okay. It's okay.
Well, you could let
I miss enough meetings anyway, so I'm not advocating for it, but it's disappointing that one meeting a year that we can't take off. It's pretty sad, but that's all I'm gonna say.
You can. It just-
No, not if you're you're gonna have 25 extra things on the meeting afterwards, or you're gonna say, oh, this is gotta be on there, like you did the last time. And I'm pointing at you because you have to do it, but I'm not blaming you, so. Would you leave it alone?
Sounds like he's probably.
Well, I'm
do that.
kinda, but.
I see that bus coming and you're
I'm
driving.
not blaming you.
I couldn't pass that up, Bob.
It's you that did
All
it.
right. Is that all you got, Bob?
That's all I got, that's enough.
Mr. Chairman, there was a question asked about following up for the university, about calls of service to the university. So, I've crafted a letter to the person's name is Liv, but they're the financial office for a public records request to get all of the data from all of the campuses. I said it last time, but I haven't sent it out yet. But I confirmed it's the right person. So we'll get, through a public records request, they have 72 hours to respond, unless there's extenuating circumstances, but I should have something back for what each campus, if they have any charges, or you aren't setting charges, if they use any services local, like police, fire, EMS, like at Johnson, Linden, Randolph, Williston, that we'll get that, who they contract out with and how much.
Good.
Because it's already started, the students aren't even back, fully, back yet, and our police officers this weekend are already going to noise complaints, that kids are back early, but even though school's not really in session. So it's just starting and it's not even really, school hasn't started yet.
I only have one thing. I have a thank you note from, is that Aaron?
That is.
Aaron Haley from 8th grade advisor and admin assistant at Fairhaven Union Middle School. So, select board members and Mike Jones, thank you very much for allowing the Fairhaven Union 8th grade class to hold a coin drop on Main Street. We were lucky to have beautiful weather, lots of traffic, and generous donors. This was our first fundraising effort, and it was a huge success. So, always nice to get a thank you. And that's all I have for tonight, so we'll move on to action items. The only one I've got is the sidewalk issue at the Church of Christ, so I'll try to make that meeting at 9 tomorrow morning. What else am I forgetting? Any other action items?
That's it, hopefully we can get that resolved.
You want me to advertise the gala, right, for Woodard's?
Yes. And I want you to advertise the need for Fire District 2 board members.
Got that one.
And we gotta figure out a special meeting for the DRB.
We need to figure out if we need to do that or not, and that's what Mike's gonna do.
And reappraisals, or the assessment of the land, I guess, still, I gotta work on that one. Excuse me.
You always have the biggest list, Mike.
There's another one too, I'm trying to find where I wrote it.
Well, I'm gonna take a look at 109 Johnson Spooner Road, the assessment and the tax history on that for the last couple of years, and see what we can figure out. And I'm gonna, your last name is Bistry?
Mhm.
So Bistry?
B-Y, S-T-R-Y,
Okay,
I-E-O-U, and sometimes Y.
nice job. Okay, anything else? That's it, that we need?
Sorry. I'm advertising for, re-advertising for DRB and Planning Commission members. I talked to Christine Thursday of last week to get that stuff put out this week.
The planning commission is crying for extra help.
Yeah.
There's only 3 of them.
Where is it? What'd I do with it? There's before we all leave tonight, we don't need to do this during the meeting, but after the meeting, the resolution that we approved last meeting, but we had to make some typo corrections. Somewhere in this pile of paper, I will find it. We all need your signature on it before we leave. It's one that we approved at the last meeting.
There wasn't the policy, the access policy, it said, one place said 5 days, one said 30 days.
Yeah,
That
and I
was
buried
correct.
it in this pile of paper somewhere, and I'll find it before we leave tonight and make sure that everyone has a chance to sign it. I thought it was in this folder, but it's not there anymore, so it's gotta be in this pile. Do we need an executive session for anything? We do, for what?
It's multi-phase, it's personnel and litigation.
You got it? You got it. You put it on here too, so
Probably.
we'll always have it.
Put it under personnel.
Thank you, everybody.
We need to call it first before they leave, before he pulls the stuff
Yeah, so it's
out.
for personnel.
It would make I move to find that premature general public knowledge regarding the personnel matter at hand would put the board at a substantial disadvantage because of personnel, is it? Because of the sensitive nature of the personnel situation. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second.
Do you want to rattle off the numbers here? Are we supposed to do some numbers there behind it?
The state
313.
statute.
Not until I go to the second motion.
Oh, you're gonna do, okay. That's
Yeah.
why you're doing it, because you know what you're doing.
What makes one of us?
I got a
Tell
sheet.
you what to do, so.
So we
I
have
know.
we gotta make the call on this first one, and then I gotta make a second motion.
Gonna call the question.
It's been called and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. I move that we enter into executive session to discuss the personnel matter under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A1A of the Vermont statutes.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
We're in executive session with the board and the town manager.
At, what's 9:30?
Yes.